Hello and welcome back to Metaphor ReFantazio. You may have been wondering why the previous episode was 3.5 hours long. Well, that's because I thought it was the end of the game and I thought we were pushing through to the end. However, now we're in the time skip portion of the game and we're playing as the king, I have come to the conclusion that there is no end to the game and it will continue forever. So, with that in mind, we're going to wander around and we're going to talk to everybody that we need to talk to. There's a whole bunch of people here, there's a whole bunch of people here, there's a few people here, and we can go to the Gauntlet Runner for some reason. Alright, cool. I mean, it is Idle's Day. I mean, we should go to the Gauntlet Runner and get ourselves a luck upgrade. I mean, I'm going to do it, unless the game stops me. I guess we're getting a luck upgrade. Oh, no luck upgrade. Okay, stats don't matter anymore. Can I get my 100 XP? Nope. Won't let you go in there. It will let you go to the toilet, but not in there. Wait. Oh, the warehouse was neat and tidy. I didn't find anything. Oh, so things have changed. Intriguing. Nobody appears to be here, which would make a lot of sense, given we aren't using the Gauntlet Runner. What about down here? Yeah, nobody's here, and we have no more, which makes a lot of sense. Just seeing in here. Alright. Anything going on with this? Nura says it's been improved beyond compare. It looks the same to me. It's possible this igniter was prepared for me so I could learn about this country. Alright. Interesting. Anyway, time to head back down to Sunshade Row.
Let's go.
And we'll start speaking to people, I guess. Also going to skip past everybody here and go back to the start. Do it in the order the game was obviously expecting you to do it in. So, let's head back here. And let's start with you. Oi oi, here's a mug I haven't forgotten. You're the king now, ain't you? That's the first time I saw you was the night before the royal funeral, if I recall. No offence, but you didn't exactly look like a prince. To think you'd go on to take down the notorious Louis and seize the crown for yourself. I couldn't make up such a story if I tried. But speaking of wild stories, can you do something about Sunshade Row? What's bothering you? Well, you know the rep old Sunshade Row has. Poor, dirty. But people like me, people still struggle to put food on the table. Have been for a long time. You're a good bloke, and I think you'll make a fine king, but I don't think you can just spruce the place up a bit and that'll solve the problem. He doesn't mince words. I'm glad he's being honest at least. Alright, well, after you saying that, I'm going to walk away and speak to Hulkenberg.
Come now.
When you have finished your business outside the palace, please promise me you'll return to resume your duties, Your Majesty. If you take this as my pressuring you not to venture out, that's not it at all. Only that as Captain of the Royal Guard, I must know your whereabouts at all times. Wow, the formality. Sounding awful formal there, Hulkenberg. Well, that is, think of your station. How else would the knight captain address the king's land? To be over-familiar would set a poor example. Imagine the scandalized faces of the rank-and-file guard.
Of course.
That said, not a day goes by that I don't reflect on our travels now. Only a year past. I owe regaining my pride as a knight to that journey. I was but a wanderer searching in vain for the prince, and it was through you I learned he yet lived. And in the end, it was your ascent to the throne I supported.
And so?
I never tire of the faces of the younger guards make when I tell them of the time you acted as witness to my duel. Ah, Rodant. Oh, you mean your duel with Rodant? Yes. Thanks to you, I was able to face him with eyes forward and put my past behind me. I'm pleased to say the knights of today are nothing like what they were under Rodant's command. Soldiers take up their sword not for those in power, but for the people. And, as the champion of the people yourself, we will do all in our power to protect you, our king.
Well,
you do not make it easy by sneaking out of the palace as you do, though I suspect the soldiers are getting used to your chaotic tendencies. They know they protect not just the king, but a ruler who stands beside his people and hears their voices in clarion truth.
this
I will protect you with my life, as I have always endeavored to do, Your Majesty. Only let me stay by your side to do so.
What do you want to do?
There's still other people we can talk to. But did you want to go see Maria now? Oh no, I want to speak to everybody that we can speak to. Also, it's interesting that it has the symbol to say it's like a bond conversation, but quite clearly not a bond conversation. Hello.
So, we meet again.
Ah, it's you. It's been quite some time, hasn't it? Ever since the new king's reign, matters have changed a great deal for the tribe's teachings. I feel there's been more people who wish to learn of our teachings and culture, much like you once did before. I wish I could say we were free to worship as we pleased, but that's a dream still among the clouds for the moment. And yet, being able to dream, it is evidence itself of progress. It is satisfying for now that more people are open-minded like you. So we haven't told everybody the truth of the world, I guess. Because if we had, then, I mean, obviously the religion would, well, it would kind of fall over slightly. But anyway. Hello.
It's just too much.
You lived in a giant sandworm to research bugs. Quite right. And gold beetles from all over the kingdom as well. Insects are vital to understanding the essence of magic. And here I thought their only use was disgusting, Martyrian cuisine. What a find. Say, what would you say to lending your wisdom to my shop? We can do business in the open now, thanks to the king. Oh ho ho, I am gratified by the offer. Another supports my research. I'll get ready to find gold beetles, because that's pretty much all he wants for his research. Hello, Parapus.
This is alright.
Haha, can't believe it. No matter how many times I see it, the king walking out of the honeybee. The city's pretty much back to how it was compared to this time last year. If Luis had ended up king, who knows where we'd be by now. It was that whole tournament nonsense. Nobody could keep their mouth shut while that was going on. Far as a damned fool like me was concerned, the whole lot of you might as well have just been telling the truth. You and Luis were just two sides of the same coin. Take no offense, will you? Not like I can tell a lie from the truth if I tried. Yeah, so people's opinions haven't drastically changed to our side. They're positive, but you know, they're mostly positive that the tournament's over. I also just realized we can go back in the inn, so. Ah, informant.
Cheers.
Oh, if it isn't His Majesty in the flesh, visiting the honeybee again. You're quite the whimsical one, aren't you? I doubt you still need someone to convert. There's an extra word in there. I doubt you still need someone to covertly sniff around in order to supply you with information, but I must say, it was a pleasure doing business with you. I can understand why Alonso likes you so much. Ah. To think that the king of our country would sneak over to my tavern without so much as a single bodyguard with him. You never change, do you? This city hasn't changed either. Sunshade Row isn't as safe as one might hope it would be under your rule. Still, why don't you pay Maria a visit before you head back to the palace? It would definitely make her day. Who? Fabienne's groceries for the inn are all lined up. I don't want to get in her way, so I'll leave them alone. But Maria isn't here, as we were told previously, so let's go in here. Yep, alright, nothing in it. That makes sense. Right, now we can go. Now I'm feeling better about things.
Eh?
Right, along here. Let's go to where previously there was an execution thing. Is there still an execution thing? There very much is. You would have thought that would be one of the easy wins for us to get rid of that, but anyway. Oh, hello, Alonso.
Pleasure to see you.
Why, hello, Your Majesty. It's only been a year since your coronation, but I see you've become quite apt at sneaking away from your palatial duties. Under constant fire from knaves of all trades, con artists and critics alike, your opening act has been rather tumultuous, no? I hadn't noticed. Oh, has it? I hadn't noticed. Haha, how kingly an answer. Never missing an opportunity to display how capable you are. Commendable. Besides, most of those agitators are the kind of scum that stirs the pot in hopes that they might benefit from the country's turmoil. Nothing I couldn't handle, of course, all in a day's work for the royal adjutant to the Citizens' Council. Quite an ally I've made, I should hope.
Hey.
I wonder if my mother would be the slightest bit proud to see who I've become. That I'm doing my damnedest to use my talents for good, as I always should have. Well, I'm proud to see it. I'm proud to be working hard alongside you.
Yes.
That's right. Supporting you is the best thing I can do. You're the one who's been able to create such a lasting change in our country.
Now that you mention it.
Ah, that reminds me. Do you remember Dataram, my hometown's landowner? He told me to send you his regards. He's since confessed his crimes and is awaiting trial. You were the one who awakened his conscience. It makes sense, doesn't it? You've proven your ideals to be true. That's why the country is doing so well. There's nothing more to it.
Thank you.
I'm hardly qualified to speak of pride, but if this country has one, it's you, and I am proud to be among its people. Perhaps under your rule, the day will come that even we Nydia can walk about freely in our true forms. Oh, that's wild that he's telling us this, because the only person who's told us this is Juna up until now. So it's wild that he's mentioned true forms, because Juna was like, this is like one of her deeply held secrets. Yeah. Alright. Ah, you're curious what I look like in my true form. I'd be happy to oblige, but let's save that for another time, shall we? It would probably be overly cute.
Ah, brilliant.
What have we got here? Ah, Basilio.
Yo.
Hey, out inspecting again. Seems a right pain to me, but I appreciate you going to all the effort. All's well, I take it? How fares the city?
Hey.
Wish I had something to report, but I don't. Guess that's what happens when you make a guy like me captain of the Tradian Brigade. Bit of a mouthful, innit? Still not used to calling myself a captain besides. We've even taken in some survivors from Luis's troops, you know, but don't you worry. I've got 2 eyes on them, even when I ain't looking.
But
Way I see it, they weren't the ones trying to make the world worse. Just gotta show them how power is supposed to be used, yeah? We owe it to you that there's less discrimination in the city these days. Fewer and fewer turn into a life of crime to make ends meet. If Del could see Grand Trad today, his eyes would bug out. And not just Del, lot of the guys who didn't make it. Vinka. I take it you mean Vinka.
yeah.
You remember him? Those damned experiments trapped him in a vengeance he couldn't see past. But I feel like even he might smile seeing what I'm up to now. We built this piece with a lot of blood and tears. So I say those of us who made it this far owe it to all of them. What didn't to protect it? Maybe I got nothing to report today, but it's not like bad people just stop being bad because you're king now.
Thank you.
You've been through a lot though, so thanks for not giving up on us. Or the world for that matter. You spot any trouble that I didn't spot first, you just point me at it, I'll solve it quick like. Hi's me.
Oh,
Well, well, I see our king is out on some personal business, eh? I believe Hulkenberg was searching for you, but I suppose it's none of my business who comes or goes. I'm on break myself.
just
Oni, try not to frustrate your royal guards over much. They all take their duties quite seriously, much like their captain. Ah, who am I kidding? A knight who smiles is surely a myth. That's become clear to me since becoming titled. What could be more bizarre? A Yugif outcast, once a wanted criminal with a bounty on his head, made knight commander. There was, of course, some opposition at first, but the more heart-to-heart talks I've had, the more accepting they've become, albeit gradually. An outcast became king too. They didn't look further than the outcast who became their king.
true.
Indeed, you face no shortage of persecution, and look at you now. Grand titles and posts across the nation are no different, spread across all the tribes. I've realized over the past year that just how much a nation is defined by its people. No matter how great a king, he alone does not a country make.
However,
Yet, he stands for those very people, as symbol and representative. Now the king and those around him are of mixed tribes. It has already caused a great shift in sentiment, even for those in rural villages. How is Tadari?
Now that you mention it.
Just how is Tadari these days?
yes.
He seems as busy as he can handle, now they've resumed trade with other villages. Your coronation inspired that village to greater heights. It proved that barriers can be broken, and that even they could take the first step. New winds are blowing in every corner of this country. I'll have to make another trip back home with my son to see the changes for myself soon enough. And someday, I hope distant generations will grow up only knowing conflict born of tribal differences from history books.
We shall.
We've a ways to go before that day comes, but until it does, let us forge a path towards it, Your Majesty. Alright then. What's up with this? Why is this still here?
This place.
Last year, they were so awful, but lately the gallows are hardly getting any use. Hardly any. That definitely implies they're still getting use, though.
Oi!
The corpses and the people crouching next to them along Sunshade Row seem to have cleared out lately. Frightful thing, really. They seem terrified of something themselves. Made me anxious just to look at them. I do hope they're feeling like themselves again. Be nice to think they found their happiness somewhere out there. Yeah, so all the ill people, it was just an overload of anxiety, basically, I'm guessing. That's a guess what's being implied. Or they were actually ill due to, like, conditions, and then everyone else was becoming anxious, and that was the problem, but anyway.
This place is really...
Your Majesty, what are you doing in this wretched sinkhole of a... It may be better than it was before, but this is still Sunshade Row. This is no place for a king, Your Majesty. Fewer folk are hanging for nothing these days, but there's still no shortage of knaves who'll die at the end of a rope here. As long as there's injustice, there'll be people who think it gives them a free pass, which means there'll be gallows. Last year changed a lot, big and small. I'll hold my post here, hoping that next year's better rather than worse.
This place is really changed.
Wow. Alright, moving on.
I sure don't want to go back to the old
I'm just...
Neither Luis nor Forden took the crown. It was an elder of all people. Guess our bets were completely off the mark. Yeah, well, something stinks about it. Magic was at work, so who knows? And did you hear the rumor?
Oh.
They're saying those disgusting humans are our ancestors. Nothing but crazy stories since the king took the throne. The king held it together this year, but who knows if he'll last another. Now, I was also thinking about the bit where we came back. So you know when we went to Japan and then we came back, right? We were like, no, I want to live in this world. I was kind of thinking that maybe the implication is that this is the fantasy world. As in, like, this is the world that is not reality within the confines of the game. Because quite clearly all of our party members died, right? They were quite clearly dead. Nuras was quite clearly dead. Also, I've also noticed that Nuras is not included in the 6. Like, where's it got? Like, I don't know where they are here. Oh, was it in cult? Might be history now. Ah, well, whatever. In our 6, like, disciples, basically, Nuras wasn't included, despite being with us pretty much all of the way. Anyway, but yeah, he was quite clearly dead, as were all of our party members, and then we came back and it was like, and we're all alive. Also, our heart wasn't ripped out. It does kind of make me think that they're implying that this is still the fantasy side of things. I don't know if I'm reading too much into that, but it would make a level of sense. Anyway. Whoa, Elda, you really became king. King. Hey, king. Oh, king. Ha ha ha. Right. That's not a poster. That's just like a weird wolf. Hello. Why, Your Majesty, surely your kingliness has no further need of my paltry sums for your mag. Besides, I hear the Mage Academy has been restored. Is it true that anyone of any status can attend? Original magic. You trying to end reliance on igniters? Only a matter of time till accumulators like this are obsolete then. Yeah, but if we end reliance on igniters... Igniters were originally designed to limit magic output. There's some definite implications here. Everything is not perfect with that. I think that's great, personally. Probably about time to shut this operation down anyway. Not that I expected the Igniter Consortium would let it go without a fight. Lycanon would stand with you, of course, but they're not infallible either. Yeah. I feel like that's just a problem waiting to happen. Seems rumors of the king running about in Sunshade Row were true. Aha. No intention of prying now. Thanks to you, Best and Luis, I had to keep running my shop. Wasn't sure I could with the sky turning red there. Not sure we could take another war. What worries you? Nothing in particular. Didn't say that because I think it'll happen. Just that nothing ever goes quite the way you think it will, eh? As long as people worry, people want weapons. So I guess I'll be in business a good while longer.
Oh, very nice.
Oh, Julian survived. Oh, alright then. You might be king, but nothing'll change. You'll forget about me. You'll forget I was even here. I won't forget. You actually spoke to me for once. I still don't believe you though. I've been watching you for a while, for a long time, here in the corner of the city. I hate people who look, see a parapus like me with no place to go, and pretend they see nothing. Don't forget that.
Oh, very nice.
We spoke to everybody who wanted to speak to us. We did not leave anyone out. No matter how many times we had to walk around the cities. Hello.
Well, well.
Oh, your majesty. Running around Sunshade Row at this time of year. You must have some very particular tastes. Perhaps you've heard there's unrest among the land as the oppressed are rising up in revolt against their oppressors.
Yes.
Or perhaps that news hasn't reached your walled garden here in Grand Trad. History books may not be kind to this era. Shouldn't they rise up? Goodness, if I didn't know any better, I'd say you just endorsed rebellion. Don't you realize how your dangerous ideology has become the spark of new threats? The dim-witted of the world only fan the flames with their anxiety. Be it people or monsters, to be dissatisfied is in our nature. Alright. Again, like,
Oh, very nice.
this combined with this, you've got unchecked magic being taught, you've got rebellions rising up, things are not perfect. Dletchum. So I'm trying to think of who I know Dletchum from. He was on the Charadrius.
You're kidding.
Oi oi, been a while no, you must remember me, I'm Sergeant Dletchum the Great. Oh yes, he was the drunk one on the Charadrius. You seem well. Of course I am, it's the end of the year and all, so why wouldn't I be? Grand Trad's a fine selection of ales too, be a shame not to make the most of it. But you know, I've been trying to cut back actually. When we lost Fidelio, God rest his soul, drink was the only thing that kept me from going mad.
Oh, I guess.
Certainly couldn't follow Luis after that, so leaving the Charadrius was sound, but it's still hard for a parapus to find decent work. Drinking my life away seemed the way to go. I assumed all of us from Luis's side who survived would have been sent straight to the gallows, but letting us join the brigade. Well, real generous of you. Not sure it would fit in anywhere else, speaking plain. Plus, with old Basilio in charge, we're feeling right at home. Now I'm back to drinking for the fun of it. I owe it all to you, your majesty. You're alright.
Thank you, kindly.
Hello.
Welcome.
My, if it isn't his majesty. You always were partial to Sunshade Row, weren't you? I know you've hardly had the chance to warm that throne of yours, but the people here are as poor as they've ever been. Money's the only way anyone gets out. It was big news that the Mage Academy reopened to anyone, but think about it. Only the rich can travel up a mountain. Sorry, I shouldn't talk your ear off about politics. There's a new year to ring in. Looking forward to a more relaxing new year, without all the frantic work. Have a happy new year yourself, your majesty.
Thank you, kindly.
Don't know why I'm checking for gold beetles.
Oi there.
I'm cooked. Ah, this is the activist, yeah. Hello.
Your patronage is very appreciated.
Oh, it's you. Thanks to your contributions, our work fighting against discrimination is slowly gaining attention. That the new king is Elda with the people with people from every tribe in key positions is probably a major factor. Still, we can't expect to end something so deeply rooted with the snap of our fingers. I'm going to keep doing my best to support those who've suffered.
Oh.
Hey, your
action
majesty,
to undertake.
listen to this. We just had a guest in the store claiming to be the chief of Etria. He said he wanted ingredients for the withering potion they use on the island and, how should I put this? Mustari village chief, he's rather, easy on the eyes, wouldn't you say? Wait, forget about that. I swear I had a point. I wanted to tell you that all sorts of people come to visit now. I enjoy doing business more now than I ever did before. Oh my. Have we married Yufa, or is he here to kill us as well? Important question.
It's just too much.
Everything's back to normal except one thing that mattered. Except the one thing that mattered. Luis ensured my husband would never come home again. I'm grateful for you. You stayed by my side and gave me courage during my darkest hour.
That'd be lovely.
Oh, don't say that. You always cheered me up with your gossip and the funny stories you told. If you're not opposed, I'd like to live on with you. I think together we can deal with whatever comes our way. Yes, you're right. Together we'll make it through. And I'll need your support. Oh my. Alright then. Well, we don't want to go this way. Because that's going to go closer to where we need to go for the main quest.
Very nice.
So we're going to head all the way back here.
Sure don't want to go back.
All the way back here and
Thanks.
up the stairs. Because now we want to speak to everybody in this section. Also see if we can go to Tradia Desert. Oh, this is the guy who supported us. You? As king, I'm going to do something nice for you.
Aha.
Hello there, your majesty the king. I still remember that night in the city when I first laid eyes on you. The evening of the royal funeral. It was the first time I'd ever seen someone from the Elder tribe, and I immediately knew that there was something special about you.
I'm sure we'll meet again someplace.
I'd say I was right on the money, huh? You definitely were. Where's the guy? Oh, the guy who we did the like found the recipe for isn't here. Maybe he's somewhere else. Can't slack off on guarding the Magdala accumulator just because the country's at peace. Or that's precisely why we can't. If even mag dust like this can be abused, we could have another riot on our hands. Powers that shake the world will breed new ambition. Hard to be optimistic about this new regime.
This?
A Magdala accumulator, only big cities like Grand Trad have fancy stuff like this. That's the same line as always.
Oh!
I wondered how things were going to end for a while there, but things seem to be under control now. I'm glad the threatening madman didn't end up king. Still, an upstart from a forgotten tribe has no business slighting the established nobility. A king with nothing but flowery speeches and ideals will hit a wall before long. No different than the last king, really. Alright, past all of these people who I guess are leaving now.
Oi!
Behold you lot, we're here. The heart of the country, Grand Trad. Wow, bet even a parapus could find work here now. Suppose it's true what they say. Change the king and the country changes too. Don't get too carried away now. Still plenty of folks who'll spit on the ground you walk. Got high hopes for next year though.
Oi!
We keep saying oi over there and I'm like, you know, stop it. Can I just leave?
Amazing. Hang on.
Hey, I said we could look around, but not outside the city. That's off the table. That seemed a little meta. Alright.
An elder.
An elder, the king's tribe. Won't catch anyone bad-mouthing them now, not openly anyway. What do you think of the current king? In my opinion, he's the victim of the last one. If you think about it, he used the raw magic to put the whole kingdom in chaos, and that's what caused Luis's rebellion in the first place. Who's the real root of all evil here?
Now, how did
I lost a good number of
wind up
friends to
here?
it. All. I couldn't bring myself to mourn the death of the last king. Still can't.
Amazing.
Oh, we now have proper guards for our gauntlet runner, and this is another person from the Tiradrius. He was the one who was really into Juno, right?
Oi!
You moron, can't you see I'm busy? Oh, it's you, your majesty. Remember me, do you? Refresh my memory. Oh, a young king with a bad memory. I see. How could you forget Seba, former maintenance chief of Luis's gauntlet runner? I was just examining your majesty's gauntlet runner as part of my research duties. Recall how astonished I was to see her take to the sky the first time. Wants to get back to my engineer roots, but then Luis started showing his true colours and the Tiradrius went down. I've got to say, your majesty, you're too soft. We used to be enemies, but you recommended us for the brigade and gave us work anyway. Pretty genius making old Basilio the captain too. Luis's old crew fall in line like wooden soldiers, though I'm not sure that kind of leniency forges nations. It's off of you, huh? Can't imagine you can afford to waste time on relics like me. Be well, your majesty. No, I guess he was the engineer, not the one who was into Juno. Hello. Your majesty, do you have something you need with the gauntlet runner? All's well here. If it's not overstepping, might I tell you something I've always wanted to say? Do you remember a long time ago when Luis dropped that human on the city? I was actually assigned to duty at the Grand Cathedral that day. The state army was in complete disarray and us soldiers were absolutely terrified. But it was the rumours about you that kept us afloat in those dark times, your majesty. You couldn't go a day without hearing someone insult the lesser tribes, and here comes this group led by some elder fighting through the cathedral with no regard for their lives. If you'd only known how much of your tales of your heroism and courage gave the guards that day. I couldn't thank you then, so please allow me to do so now. You truly are a hero king, your majesty. Oh, thank you very much. Oh, hey, Lena.
Hi there.
Hey, ya boss. Oh, dang, I suppose I shouldn't be speaking to you so casually, huh? Then again, we were rivals, weren't we? And Caden Workshop's the official workshop of the Palace Engineers now. Not that that's here or there. Besides, I'm glad you got the crown.
So then,
Still still lots of humans out there you have to deal with, and you'll need a gauntlet runner to get up to them. Cade Workshop thanks you for your patronage. I guess if Nuress has decided he's no longer into gauntlet runners, it makes sense for her to take over. Ugh, can't believe the owner of this sweet gauntlet runner ended up king. But it helped me come to a decision. In the new year, I'm going to go see even more gauntlet runners. You do you. Oh, hey, Nuress.
Oh ho ho! What brings His Royal Majesty here? Come to feel the wind on your face too, have you? I know how it is. I've the fancy old title of Chief Engineer of the Kingdom Infrastructure Development Bureau, and I can research as I please now, but something's missing. So I threw off that stuffy old uniform and came to gaze upon the runner. In the way I do.
I know how you feel.
About that.
I feel like I know what you mean when you say something's missing.
I knew you'd agree. I think my bones are aching to feel the wind. I rather miss the days of dashing hither and thither in the runner.
Perhaps.
Not that I'm ungrateful for the gracious title you've given to a man who used to skulk about modifying gauntlet runners. You haven't seen anything yet. Why, one day I'll invent a teleportation device that will deliver fresh fish straight from Oceania to your palatial palates. It would change the world, wouldn't you say? I'm just a bit stuck at the beginning on the development.
Indeed.
There's times like this I need stimulation of the mind. You have anything that might do the trick?
Did I smell another relic hunt?
That's...
You can send me another relic hunt?
Don't pretend you didn't enjoy it. Every time you pop back with one, I remember how I could hardly contain my excitement. Oh, I do miss traveling like that. Even if the relics themselves were better off left untouched. They become the guiding principle of my research, you know.
That's...
Convenience is important, but one must consider safety and the effects it might have on the world. An engineer who dumps a burden on future generations is no engineer at all.
However...
Still, it's no small feat to design with perfect balance of safe and revolutionary. Even I struggle with it, and I'm a bally genius. Ah, I knew it. What I need is stimulation. La, your majesty. You know, like the soul-shaking speed and quiver of a drive engine. You'll let me know if you ever want to go out for a spin, won't you? A dear old girl, sparkling clean and always ready for takeoff.
I'll let you know. Although we're not allowed to apparently right now. Hello.
You are.
Now who's this? His Royal Majesty the King? What's brought you to my little dive? Come to think of it, I said some rude things to you last year. Told you to keep your elder head down. No hard feelings. Tribal quarrels haven't quieted down here at all. Might even be worse, now that everyone's equal in the eyes of the law. But sometimes fists just need to fly. It's not like it was back when the sky was red as blood and death was everywhere. In fact, it's amusing to see new faces around here. It's a good change, I think. Yeah, it does, like, mostly appear to be the same people, though. Like, there's not, like, a huge variety in tribes here. So I think what's being said is not necessarily what's happening. Oh, hello.
All right now.
Missed you.
Yes, hello.
To think that you, of all people, would end up becoming king. Never expected it, but I will tell you one thing. Wax poetic about your ideals all you want. When it comes to protecting the country, only power will suffice. People don't approve of a dreamer king. I won't let you down.
Is that so?
Easier said than done. How much has the country truly changed in the past year? Have your policies truly fared better than Luisa's would have? If all you do is talk, you're no better than the last king. All ideals, no power. Just the same.
And he's not wrong, so from what we've seen so far. Hello. I used to meet this old Lamar here. He died about a year ago in the riots. He was so full of himself, always telling me that I was wrong. But you know what? Most other Lamar wouldn't have even bothered speaking with a parapet like me. That man actually treated me as a person. He was a gruff, mean bastard, no question about that. But he wasn't a bad person by any means. And me, I suppose I was fond of him, yeah. I liked our little conversations. Now that he's gone, I miss him. That's just upsetting. Hello. Ah, is that your majesty? What fortune to bump into you at the end of the year like this. If there's anything my humble personage may be able to do for you, your radiance, I am at your service. Say but one glorious word and I shall most happily.
Honestly.
Okay, laying it on a bit thick, aren't we? It's that forked tongue that's got you in trouble last time. You hear me? One wrong move and I'm turning you over to Basilio. You gotta turn your life around. Of course. Right, continue along here. Ah, hello.
Oh.
Well, hello there, your majesty. As laid back as ever, I see.
I myself have been crying like a baby, for I find my position as chairman of the parliament quite an unfamiliar one. Still, I've considered these open to all parliamentary meetings. Compiling all those opinions is indeed hard work, but work well worth doing.
This fellow.
It won't be easy for those who were at the church's beck and call to change, but I think they've been starting to see what they turned a blind eye to. At least a bit, no? A person who speaks the real truth to the public without yielding to authority. That's what my father and I wished for. A true and proper town crier. This country's turned over a new leaf, but there are still many problems to work out. It seems the rural regions are still suffering from human havoc.
I'm counting on you.
All I'm saying is that we're a long way from utopia, but still, the first step is as important as the last, and we're taking big ones. Hello.
Illusory.
Just recently, a sanctor in Bralhaven was brought to judgment. His crime? Using Parapus subjects for atrocious igniter experiments. The church reaffirms its dedication to cracking down on inhuman acts such as these.
Wonderful.
Wow, the church is really owning up to its scandals. The town criers around here sure have changed. Nah, they're just doing it to put on a good show for the new king, doing things like they always would have sent them spiraling further.
Hey,
Hello there, your majesty. It's great to see that you're doing as well as ever. I've just left a meeting with the provincial lords. I also preach the Mustari teachings in various areas when the opportunity arises. Many still push back against such teachings, but that's perfectly fine. Our country is well served by different perspectives. Many of the villagers have come around to this too, you know. I think that's because you all face such danger on our behalf. Still, it won't be easy to change the entirety of Uchronia. Its history is embedded deep in its roots. The country is larger, and some people will need all the power you have. The true test of your values has only just begun.
May God keep
At least he didn't want to kill us. Kiddo?
All right.
Ah, are you surveying the city incognito, your majesty? Your escorts would be aghast. Not that I think anyone is truly capable of harming you. As you're aware, faith in the Sanctus Church plummeted after our misdeeds were exposed. I admit, we're arrogant and unjust, wicked in custom. But people have found salvation through the church as well. I intend to restore the Sanctus Church to its true purpose, or for salvation to those in need. As Santiarch, and as someone who was saved by the Sanctus faith myself, that is all I can do to return the favor.
May God keep you, child.
Is a little odd though, because like, wasn't your whole faith based on a lie that we exposed? Ah, let's not worry about it.
Wonderful.
what am I to do?
This is not the conclusion we wished for. Now that we've lost our leader in the church, what's to become of our lifestyle? Grin and bear it for now. This king's as much a dreamer as the last. He'll be crushed under the weight of his lofty ideals soon enough. I'm sure of it.
Wonderful.
Wow, people are not confident in us. Hey, weather lady.
How about a fortune?
Oh my, has His Majesty come to has fortune told? Ho ho, I jest, of course. I believe you've become acquainted with the Chief of Etria. I was able to speak with him for just a moment. He's truly an outstanding figure, but with an ability and insight. As a fortune teller, I still have much to learn.
Wonderful.
Do you think Denny knows how many people around here are, like, very into him? He is quite the figure.
Greetings.
Working hard as ever, Graham. Were you going about town and listening to what the people have to say? Myself, I've just come from the Crown Court, where I've been consulting with the people about their grievances and disputes as Chief Magistrate. Our court is time for that.
Well,
Our court is taking on common grievances.
Yes, of course.
In the past, we were busy with cases of violence and theft, but those have decreased remarkably.
In truth.
As you're undoubtedly aware, in the past, many citizens were sentenced to hang without so much as a trial.
Alas.
I'm pleased to report things are different now. Anyone, regardless of race or status, can tell their side of the story in court and be judged equally and fairly. It just goes to show anything is possible, even for a priestess to become chief magistrate. And my brother was making great strides as village chief. He rather hated the role before, but he's truly found his calling, I think.
The reason is.
As I said, no one knows what the future holds. It's all the more reason I try to guide people to good choices. I want to live in a society that practices kindness, where those who suffer need not turn to crime. So I practice what I preach.
Now that you mention
The other
it.
day I went to visit Ovi's church to inquire of those who are sick there about how the kingdom can be more accessible to them. How is Ovi? Was Ovi doing well?
Very well.
Yes, we practiced dancing together, and then we showed her mother. All of them are ready to ease into working again. Hearing them made me reflect on all the people who still need our help. Until now, the only hope that those people had was God.
I do believe.
I want to fight for them to have options under law and systems that they can rely on in addition to higher power. A country where all the tribes with all their values can join hands in harmony. That's what we need.
Because
You aim to achieve that too, yes, Your Majesty. I hope you'll allow me to keep walking alongside you in this. Alright. Definitely sounds like we're not getting killed today. Right. Hello.
Oi!
After all that fuss across the kingdom, the one who ended up on the throne was the blood heir after all. Oh, the irony. He had the strength to take down Luis, I'll give him that. But in the end, I guess blood's all that ever mattered. He was the only viable choice of the lot. Who knows if he'll be a decent king? Suppose that all depends on what he does next. Yeah, it is a little unfortunate that we're like a blood relative of the previous king. It is pretty much just like, alright, yeah, so we were doing things right all along. We can't look at these anymore. I was wondering if we could look at the replica of the royal scepter. Your Majesty, it's been some time since you graced us with your presence. What style of igniter may help you this time? Haha, I jest. I know that's not why you're here. As you can see, it's thanks to you that the Lycanon Magic Association has been able to continue its business. Our king has shown us what magic ought to be. Humans and other threats still stalk the land, so igniters and their power have remained an indispensable asset in maintaining a country. All this talk of original magic, that doesn't rely on igniters. It'll take some time to make it viable.
Come again.
We'll continue to produce igniters with pride, helping to bridge this era with the next. The king himself out browsing the shops. Perhaps I need to draft up a royal certificate of appointment. Tell the world we supply goods to the royal family. Any recommendations? Anything you'd recommend? One igniter in particular, in fact. I'm afraid we're all sold out at the moment. The igniter I made at the children's request, the one that lights up with rainbow colours, is selling startlingly well. The store was packed with families and children.
Say,
I now hold a position where I control the distribution of all manner of goods throughout the kingdom, as head of the Igniter Consortium. I can't help but think that if I had been in this position sooner than the church's violence, the tragedy of that village could have been prevented. Let's focus on the present.
Brigitte.
What matters is that how we move forward though, right?
yes.
Indeed, I can dwell on the past all I wish, I won't change it. The future, on the other hand. I took up this post after I was nominated by my colleagues. In other words, I suppose that means people have expectations of me, that I too am a spoke in the wheel of change. Our new king has changed this country for the better. However, as a former arms dealer, it would be naive to think all weapons can ever disappear from this world.
Yet.
It's all the more reason I hope the reasons for people to wield them continue to decline. To that end, I'll continue doing all I possibly can, with all that I am, just as you do.
Speaking of,
Ah yes, do you remember my dog? I found the ones who took her. Naturally, I considered ending their lives. But there she was sitting beside them. Evidently, they could not bring themselves to harm such a sweet creature, so they decided to keep her instead. Well, that's good. I had no choice but to spare their lives. I couldn't subject a gentle dog to the atrocities I'd commit in her name. You should come play her for some time. I'm sure she remembers you. That's good the dog isn't dead.
pickle.
Cabio, now were you the Juno person? Traveling with Lady Juno sure was fun. Blurg, Your Majesty, what business do you have with a former helmsman like me? What about Juno now? I had the honour of attending to her during an expedition. Actually, I think she's on her way to the palace in order to meet with you. You didn't hear from the Chief Magus? Or Magnus? Well, Lady Juno was off inspecting the Mage Academy. I was the flight's helmsman, and it knocked me on my arse when Lady Juno left Luisa's company, you know. I left right after she did. Anyway, still undecided about you being king and all that, but I do appreciate you taking me in, so I'm going to work to repay that favour.
I've got this under control.
On that note,
yeah?
about time I get back to work. Oh, and don't tell the chief I was shooting the breeze here, Your Majesty. Oh, there's the bench where we sat on and looked across here. No face in the sky, much different than it's been for most of the game. I'm relieved that the Royal Palace has returned to its original location. Even now, there are people who can hardly believe it was flying about, making its way around the entire kingdom. I saw it with my own eyes. I witnessed the moment the red light within the king's eyes vanished and the palace returned to the gouged out land it was pulled from. Hopefully nobody was like digging under the palace or anything, or like in that land. They would have got... Let's not think about it. They would have got flattened rather.
Hey,
What's the word, your majesty? Just one question, if I may. When are you gonna lower the booze prices in this country? Haha, I'm only coddling you. Haven't felt much like drinking till I blacked out so often anymore. After I entered the tournament, I really went through some stuff. I was acting a fool on the world stage, and to you too.
Yeah.
I'm grateful, you know. Can't speak for the rest of the country, but you've done right by us Parapus. We've got it better than we ever did. Some chuckleheads out there still try to take their aggression out on us, but they're just venting, probably. I'm sure you'll do something soon enough. Alright.
Ain't this a pickle?
Slightly positive, but he's still like, you're gonna do something, right? You're gonna do something about all these problems? And we're like, really? We're mostly just good at hitting things with a sword. Anyway.
Oh,
An elder. Wait, aren't you His Majesty the King? Why would you be in a place like this?
Nope, wrong elder.
ugh, come on.
Ah, so you say. Just because the king's an elder doesn't mean everyone's accepted it, you know. I thought we'd see less of this kind of stuff, but I guess we couldn't expect prejudice against the elder to disappear overnight.
Dear me.
Hello, cat. Oh, this is Moore's cat.
Wait a sec.
Wait a second, isn't that the cat from Academia? If that place was made of magic, how is it here in real life? Well, because the cat could have been real. I mean, just because Moore was a fragment of our father's psyche doesn't mean that the cat was. The cat could just be his cat, which would mean it lived in the capital, which means that it's just here. To say nothing of how he could have survived in a deserted ruin buried in the snow. That shouldn't be possible, right? I just think he's cute.
That's a good kitty.
And yet he's never stopped looking cute. Doesn't bother you at all? You sure are something else. If memory serves, the last king did build himself a study in the Mage Academy. Do you think Academia was styled after that, maybe? I wonder what His Majesty, what Moore felt when he put this little guy in Academia. The cat tends to himself quietly, utterly impartial to us. Now, it could also be implied here that this cat means that we are in a fantasy world. Because the Academia, as it was created by Moore, was his own, like, it was basically his mini world within that novel, right? If the cat is here, could this mean that we are within a similar type world? And therefore not in reality? It's just a thought. It's also a cat. Hello.
My king.
Oh, there you are, Graham. I heard you were in town, so I decided to see if we might cross paths. I have so much to tell you about my inspection, so I'm afraid you'll need to clear your diary for me soon. Bring any souvenirs?
In that case,
Bring me back any souvenirs?
Gosh.
Let's just focus on the report. Don't worry. I'll give you the gist. Firstly,
Well?
the Mage Academy's reconstruction is going swimmingly. Repairs are in full swing and we're already processing admissions. I must say, I'm still surprised you appointed me of all people to be the Academy's headmistress. I was rather looking forward to going back on tour as a songstress. Oh, and shall I introduce you to my furry little friend? I scooped him up in the Academy of all places. During the reconstruction, they stumbled on this little guy in some kind of observatory supposedly used by the king long ago. Considering the igniter around his neck, I'm sure he's been taken care of. I mean, there's no way a cat could survive alone in that cold, could he?
So,
Regardless, our mysterious kitty is only the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the Academy. All that knowledge was lost when it fell, so we're starting from scratch. May even be hiding secrets as big as the Dragon Temple or the Sanctum. Oh, and I'm keeping the cat. Feels like fate, you know?
speaking of which,
And speaking of fate, I'm on my way back. I met up with Myrtus. She's well, I trust?
now we're talking.
She's keeping well, I hope?
yeah.
More than well. Her throat has been fine, and she's a fairly prominent singer about town now. We both just keep soaring to new heights. Her in music, and me coming face to face with magic again.
Hey.
Surely remember, music was the first magic born in this world, yes? When the heart expresses itself through music, it moves the hearts of others. And when they make hearts swell, why, there's no end to the magic. So just you watch. With music and magic at my side, I'm going to change the world. All will have equal opportunity to hone their talents at the Mage Academy. Our doors are open to all. That's what my sister would have wanted. And if it makes the world a better place, why isn't that just grand?
Magic.
Rella taught me that her magic is more that magic is more than a tool. It's in all of us, deep in our hearts. So the cat was at the Mage Academy, but that opens more questions. Because presumably Moore was at the age when he had the cat. Like, that doesn't add up, right? Or, like, the cat
would be dead, right? If Mor had it when Mor was that age. Because Mor was the king, and the king looked ancient. I don't know. Anyway, I missed this guy, apparently. I still remember the day I met you last year, Your Majesty. I felt like you had a kind heart bothering to listen to an old man's folk tales. A sincere young man loved by fairies finds happiness. Folk tales aren't just tired old stories for dreamers.
Thank you.
I'd say they have the power to tell the future sometimes, though maybe that's giving them a little too much credit. I wonder whether if you hadn't spoken to these guys, if their conversations wouldn't be there. It makes sense that they wouldn't be there if you hadn't spoken to them. Oh. Apparently I missed this guy.
Oi there.
Hey, Mr. Driver, how long before we depart? I'm bloody eager to get a move on. First Oceania, then Montario. My cross-country trip starts now. A new chapter in my life.
If I may.
No need not to ruin your fun, but this carriage doesn't go that far. You know that, right? Alright, well, to the cathedral. I hope I've got everybody. I'll do a check to make sure we get every, like, one that's marked on the map before we, move on. Right, yeah, and we have to go to the cathedral itself. Can I have a look at this first, though? Sneaking into the Grand Cathedral through the mausoleum to avoid prying eyes feels like such a long time ago. It's been non-stop crazy since then. Definitely has been. Hello.
Right.
Well, if it isn't Your Majesty, been a year since you've ascended to the throne, and a quick one at that. It feels like the strife with Luis was but a bad dream. Had you asked me then, I would have been wringing my hands about one so young leading the kingdom, but now, I'm embarrassed to have thought it. You had a keen eye to recognize the danger Luis posed, and a braver still to have fought him. You had a kingly caliber I never truly possessed. Still, a single year is but a drop in the proverbial bucket. Stay vigilant, King. Hello. Oh, Your Majesty, it's been quite some time since we've met, but I've never forgotten you. You were a young elder about town from the recruitment center to the mausoleum. I watched from the shadows. There's still times when people hurl abuse on me for being Mustari. However, thanks to Your Majesty, I can run my business with pride. Just goes to show that it's going to take time to eliminate prejudice like that. We've got to keep at it.
Lovely.
Oh, hey, Barden.
That's something.
What an unexpected coincidence, Your Majesty. No guards with you today? Don't worry, I'm no tattletale. I myself just left a meeting going on over how the provincial governments are doing. We convened for the new year. How are things in Martira?
So,
Oh, it's as lively as it used to be, and we owe it all to you, Your Majesty. That dodgy mess you cleaned up for us feels like ancient history now. And I'm pleased to report, as head of the provincial lords, it's nothing but good news reaching my ears. Better relations between the towns has employment up and overall welfare too. Each town has specialities and wisdom to offer, and when we combine our heads, there's no problem we can't solve. I just feel so blessed to be part of it. I know I made some blunders when I first stepped into the governor's role, but I'm happy to share my failings so others don't repeat my mistakes. That brings me back.
Got to say,
Noah was trying to do too much on my own back then, and I got a bit overzealous. Of course, some lords are like I once was, would rather manage things at their sole discretion and leave things to the people. And yes, taking every matter to the public opinion can be laborious, what with all the proceedings and disputes.
then again,
Still, changing our lives with our own hands makes the process worth the trouble.
brilliant.
And choosing a king of our own will was all the inspiration we needed for change.
Lovely that.
Oh, we can go in? I did not expect this. We can go in any of the other buildings. I didn't expect to go in this one.
Uh-huh.
I have any bounties for you, Majesty? We've been at peace for a while thanks to you, and we're dealing with things one step at a time. Oh, Your Majesty, it's an honour. I've only recently been assigned to my post here at the recruitment centre, so... Actually, I was sorting through enlistment records for 2 years ago, and I was surprised to find a certain signature. That's right, Your Majesty's signature, and General Stroll's as well. I was quite surprised to discover the two of you had met here. I think they deployed the future king in the army. Horrifying. Alright. There used to be people talking down one of these ones. Just not sure where they'd be right now. Maybe down into the barracks? Yeah, no, we can just hear the soldiers. Okay, and then we also have this. Reminds me of what happened at the recruitment center. Alright, cool. weird that this is the building they thought not to just put the people outside of. It's very odd.
Lovely
There you have it.
that.
And you're the last person from the Charadrius.
Oh.
Well, if it isn't His Majesty, the captain of the Royal Guard was looking for you. As former guard captain of the Charadrius, perhaps I should report your whereabouts. I can't deny that. Just giving you a hard time. It can be hard to shake old habits, despite the fact that I'm Captain Salva of the State Army now. I parted ways with Luis shortly before his runner made for the Skyborn Royal Palace. When I saw the horror that Zorba had become, I knew the world he wanted was no world of mine. I thought I'd found my place within Luis's private forces after being disgusted by the shameless corruption of the Royal Army, but his true intentions were worse than I could imagine. It was the General who pulled me back in. He said my experience leading a force of mixed tribes would be valuable. I'd only taken the job in hopes of atoning, so it's a strange twist to serve for pride in the State Army I once so detested. Still, I wonder why he bothered with us. It's nice that we have brought all of them back and rehabilitated them in a way. Although I am also thinking, yes, it was back to a comment about Zorba. Somebody mentioned in the comments about Zorba. Yes, the Zorba fight we had was odd. It did feel odd, and it was odd, because Zorba was meant to do a whole bunch of other attacks after he'd buffed. Like, when we were doing that bit where he was meant to self-buff, right? He was meant to self-buff and then do a move, and that move would have been like the main thing of the fight. Instead, he always self-buffed and then just removed our debuff, and that was his turn. So it basically just nullified the entire fight. I don't think I can be blamed for buffing. Like, that is a fairly common thing to do in the game. So, yeah, a bit of an odd fight. Anyway, hello.
Oh.
Ah, Your Majesty. It's already been a year since you ascended to the throne, and 1 year since I lost my bid for it. Thinking back, I have no regrets. I'd not have been able to defeat Luis in the end as you did. That's for sure.
Yeah.
It would have been impossible for me, and for any of the other candidates if we're honest. I've come to believe in your power, Your Majesty, though I'll not acquiesce on all fronts, you know. You needn't look further than your 6 partisans, your merry little bands. I can appreciate your faith in your inner circle, but to award them all your key posts, why one might suspect you of collusion. A country requires views from all walks of life, or put another way, why not appoint me your Prime Minister? With my guidance, Shukronia would become a land of true beauty. Just when you think it's about to make a decent point, he plays his own angle. Don't let your guard down around that guy.
Lovely.
I mean, he does have a point in one way. Like, it is a little weird for us to have just appointed all our best mates as into all the top positions. It's like, yeah, I know we can trust them, but they're all just going to agree with me 100% of the time, right? I can't overstate how miserable things were because of Luis. I didn't end up fleeing, perhaps because seeing Your Majesty fight stirred a sense of duty within me. I know there are still many who don't approve of you, but I shall do my part to protect the country you lead. It's my duty as your soldier. I wish the country nothing but the best over the coming year.
Lovely.
Hello. So tomorrow is finally the day. Have you finished your preparations? Our journey to the Mage Academy in Montario will be quite long. Yes, but why are you taking me as your traveling companion? You saw how much I admired Luis, how hostile I was to our faith? Everyone said foolish things. Faced with national crisis, we clung to power instead of trying to use our power to solve it. But times have changed. The Mage Academy now opens its doors to anyone. No harm will come to those who want to learn there. Alas, my youth has fled me. So I use my wealth to ensure others can reach it. Take what you learn there and spread it throughout the kingdom far and wide.
Lovely.
Alright.
Amazing.
What have we got in the corner here? Oh! Her!
Hi there.
Oh, if it isn't the big man himself. Good timing, mate. I just got back into town myself. Where'd you go? Forgot, where did you go again?
What
I'm
a
captain
day.
of the Seekers Recon team, remember? We travel the world, doing all kinds of crazy stuff. And crazy doesn't begin to describe what's beyond the sea. The sights, the magic, everything's so fantastic, I'm already itching to get back out there. Well, I'm not especially keen on dodging the bloody cannonballs when my ship gets too close. Lots of tension out there. But our country isn't a little tense. Everything from the customs to the way they think is so different, my head spins. Makes all the tribal bickering seem right dull if I can speak my mind. But this country's changing for the better, so I'm glad I turned over the throne to you. You turned it over?
Hold on.
You turned it over to me, did you? Yeah, I knew you'd do right by the Parapet, so I bowed out early to give you a fighting chance. Heh, just kidding. All my cohort have found jobs, and some of them have even picked up new skills from being out at sea so long.
See you soon, I hope.
But don't you worry your kingly head, I'll have it all whipped up in a report for you. Do something proper kingish with it, yeah? Alright then. Who have we got here? Oh, we can't speak to Stroll yet. We gotta leave him.
Fancy a chat?
Well, if isn't your majesty, hello there. I don't even have the pluck to try selling water to the king. Especially considering sales are up, we've got customers from across the tribes now. Although I'm guessing people were just avoiding Parapet's own shops before. Right, down here. Someone over here.
Oh, what'll I do?
Luis was crazy. I learned that firsthand, but the country before it was riddled with mistakes. I'd like to think the new king already knows, but frankly I don't think much has changed in the last year. King or not, he's not that old. I'm sure he's doing his best, but in the end he's just the old king's son. I don't expect very much of him. Fair enough. Also, another member of the Charadrius. I forgot there were 5 of them. What? You're the bastard too? Well, it's been a while anyway. Bastard, was it? Oh, I apologize for my impertinence, your grace. I was once known as Sergeant Xanth. Though I suppose that title carries little weight nowadays. After losing to you, my own men turned on me and threw me into the Oceania Sea. Awful as that was, looking back, those events saved my life. I've heard that those who went with Luis to the Royal Palace in the sky never returned. A world where power is everything. I suppose that would be hell after all. Never thought you would inspire me to realize anything, yet here we are. I'm spending my days doing charity work as a member of the brigade under Chief Magnus. I'll never give up on making my way up in the world by my own merits. Matter of fact, I was invited to participate in the Colosseum's games in Brawlhaven. A work of the brigade helped a nobleman who put in a recommendation for me. It's a brave new world, isn't it? Give me a year and I'll make sure people know the name Xanth as a fighter that electrifies the audience. Bwahaha! We're told that nobody had survived the Colosseum apart from us. I just want to throw that out here. Hello.
Hey, mister.
Even though Luis died, my dad still isn't happy because my mum died and she can't come back. But you know, Mr. King, I've been cooking instead of my mum, and I'm trying really hard. I'm happy to be with my dad, so next year I'm going to work harder than ever. My mum is watching from the sky, isn't she? Just like your dad, Mr. King.
Stupendous.
Oh, someone's down here. Oh, it's Roger. The guy who wanted to remove all taxes.
Hello.
Ah, your majesty, it's an honor to meet with you at this most auspicious time of year. I know I was quite devoted to Luis at one point. His power was both overwhelming and alluring. You need to reflect. I'm doing that for what it's worth. It's hardly an atonement, but I'll at least try to be straight with you from now on. Not to bring down the mood, but I wanted to mention, I sense something familiar among your supporters. I recognize it because I was the same way. In their eyes, you're a hero who conquered the monstrous Luis. They entrusted you with the authority because of your power and their desire to be at peace. Let's assume the people have expectations not of your ideology, but solely of your power. King or not, failing to see that difference may invite consequences. Please take it from someone who erred in his ways. The people of this country have not recovered from the unrest. And when they do...
Stay there.
Yeah, then they're going to start expecting results. And they'll be happy to make waves to get them. I get it. You get shivers hearing stories from when the castle was floating in the sky. The place was teeming with crystals and monsters. It was a place for no man to enter, no sir. I heard that when the palace came back down, all the monsters had been dried out like they were statues made of dirt. Rebuilding the palace went faster than expected. I heard they recouped some of the costs by selling the furnishings inside. Seems like a miracle, doesn't it? Yeah, suppose so. Right.
How grand.
Anyone along here? Ah, you. Hello.
Welcome.
Ah, your majesty, I was wondering who you might be. I see you're still fond of wandering these parts like always. I get it though, I do love the night market myself, until last year that is. Then I began to hate it, no thanks to Luis. It was truly a terrible situation all around, and yet somehow things have recovered. I've high hopes they'll be better than ever. Right, a little bit over here. Hello. Oh, your majesty. I've heard from Fabienne, you know. About how you still take the time to pop into the honeybee now and then. Ah, that's not very kingly of you. That's what makes you so trustworthy. Please do keep treating Fabienne and Maria well, for Grace's sake too.
Oh there.
Hello?
Yeah?
Excuse me, aren't you an Elder? Please don't take that the wrong way, I'm just curious. Those 3 are Elder too, aren't they? I wondered if perhaps you knew them or something. What about them? What do you mean, what about them? Isn't it kind of amazing to see Elda in town? The elderly lady in the middle is floating, for heaven's sake. Is that some sort of igniter? Couldn't it be? Then how? Oh, and the other woman's clothes are so beautiful. Goes without saying, but you can't find clothes like that in Grand Trad, can you?
What should I do?
There's something so incredibly charming about them. You think I should try talking to them? Oh! I completely missed her. Also, I missed our Yugif tutor. Or at least we were told he was our tutor. Oh, this guy's still not better. Oh, are things really alright now? Am I alive after all that's happened? Yes, you are. It's been a year. We came out of it okay.
Real nice, that.
We've both been through a lot of terrible things, but we will overcome them one by one. Yes. Alright.
Become a proper kingdom.
Hello. Russell, you're here. Oh, Gallica, and your highness as well. Ah, but that's no longer your title, is it? Excuse my impertinence, your majesty. Still, knowing that the New Year's celebrations were just around the corner, I couldn't resist returning to the capital to see how the kingdom was faring. Has it been kind to you? Indeed. I need only look upon their smiling faces to see that the city feels alive again. And it seems as though the citizens are free to choose their own paths. I must say, I never imagined I'd return here without all the cloak and shadow. I owe a great deal to the work of Lady Juna. To think I'd be able to see Grand Trad with His Highness sitting openly on the throne. All says, are you seeing this as well?
Yep.
Got a long ways to go, but I know Grius will be watching. I should tell you, a sizable number of villagers in the Sanctum have gained an interest in the outside world. I've been acting as sort of their bridge. Seems the doddering old fool has found a new role, to find the middle ground for both those who wish to preserve tradition and those who seek innovation.
Yep.
I couldn't think of a better man for the job, Russell. I'm sure you'll be of great help to the village. I fought so long to save this country, but seeing all those smiling faces now, I think perhaps I'm the one being saved. This is a country that protects its people, and the people shape the country in turn. Surely that's the world His late Majesty wished to see. Not to simply chase the ideal of a utopia, but to shape it with our own hands. We've a long way to go, but I trust you'll continue to make this country stronger, Your Majesty.
Wonderful, isn't it?
Thank you, Russell.
Huh?
Lady Gruaday! Ah, it's been quite some time, hasn't it, Graham? You've matured a great deal in a short year since I last saw you. Rumour of your rule has reached even the Sanctum. Some are kinder than others. Taking the reins of a runaway country must have its share of difficulties. Your face tells me as much. The frail child who could do little more than lie on the brink of death has come so far. Goodness, tears come so easily with old age. Let's say we're grateful to you. I did nothing. You're the one who achieved everything.
But
Surprised to see you in Grand Trad, Lady Gruaday. It's a curious thing. I received a rather forceful invitation here, you see, for one of your friends, the girl named Juna. Goodness knows how many times she's already come to visit the Sanctum, seeking instruction on magic. Some of the villagers are rather smitten with her. She declared that if I wouldn't feel welcome coming to Grand Trad, she would have a highway built directly between the capital and the Sanctum. Haha, oh Juna. She probably would. So there you have it. Now then, Graham, or rather King Graham. The 1,000-year seclusion of the Elder Tribe may soon come to an end under your guidance. And yet the journey ahead of you will be hard. The dreams you hope to achieve will feel just out of reach. So do stop by and show your face around our forest sometime. Your mother cannot do so herself. I can whip up some of her favourite dishes in her spirit. That's very nice of you.
I love it.
Right. Anyone over here? Nope.
this place.
Make me nostalgic for our days of candidate debates. It feels like everyone's discussing national politics now, doesn't it? I thought this guy wanted to speak. Did I not see a speech bubble up? Oh, it was over this guy. Okay. I miss the days when the Fates Rock was here. Never knew what to expect back then. Joyful one moment, miserable the next, remember? After Luis was defeated and the king decided? Indeed I do. Suddenly His Majesty's face eclipsed the others for the briefest moments, then it all crumbled away like sand. Over a bit too soon after all that palaver, I'd say. I liked his coronation speech, but I can't say he's accomplished much of any importance since then. I gotta say, I've said the word palaver before. I don't know if I've ever seen it written down in text.
His strength certainly was incredible during the final battle in Grand Trad, but I wonder what people in other cities who didn't see that sight think of things. Either way, so long as next year is uneventful and peaceful, I'll consider it a win. Hello. We learned how brittle peace is, as well as the preciousness of a life lost. The peace we've regained could be lost again. We must remain vigilant. Alright.
Say there.
Now, I just want to check the maps here. So, nothing on the Gauntlet Runner that we could see. Nothing there. Nothing there. Just Stroll. Right. Hey, Stroll.
Hey.
Ah, skulking about the city again, are we? Which is to say, Hulkenberg is on the hunt. The classic game of cat and mouse. Though, who is which, I dare not say. It's been a year since you ascended to the throne, but it's like you've hardly changed. I could say the same of you. You haven't changed much either, Stroll. Ahem. That's Lord or General Stroll, Your Majesty. Haha, I'll never get used to such titles. I really should take a page from Juna's book. She has a gift for delegating, like she was born to do so. Not that I can talk. I actually came out for a bit of a breather myself.
Even so.
You know, I see now that even those at the top have their struggles. Little too clearly, a general's duties feel overwhelming at times. But there are lives hanging in the balance. I recognize the weight of every decision I make. I do find satisfaction in protecting those lives.
Hey.
Remember our first meeting back at the recruitment center? A fallen noble with nothing to my name, and you a struggling elder traveler. Back then my only goal was getting ahead. My people were little more than an afterthought. If I hadn't met you, I'd never have realized the truth about my fortune, my father's intentions, and I certainly couldn't have saved the Hallians.
Thank you.
I owe seeing the joy in their faces to you. I think I've said it before, but again, thank you. Give yourself some credit.
That's...
You need to give yourself some credit, Stroll.
No.
I would still owe any credit I could take to you for showing me the way. You live stable, peaceful lives thanks to you.
Hey.
You have a whole country on your shoulders now. The road ahead will be full of challenges we can't possibly foresee. But show me the way, and I'll blaze the trail. Now and always, it's my role as a warrior to be the vanguard.
That's why.
Our titles may have changed, but I'd like to think our friendship is steadfast as ever. Don't hesitate to rely on me, now and always.
Say there.
Oh, it's nice. Also, I can't help but thinking all these conversations would feel a lot different if you hadn't done their bonds. Like, surely they've all got different paths that you can go down, like, if you haven't done different bits of bonds, because he's saying, oh, those people are peaceful. If we hadn't done any of his bond, they would not be peaceful. But maybe you can't reach this point unless you have all the bonds done. That's the other thing, right? Like, maybe this whole section is because you did stuff? I don't know. I might have to look some of that up later, but I do kind of like having the illusion that everything you do has mattered up until now, right? Like, even if you get the exact same experience, it's sometimes better to not know what the other options are. I think I see this in things like Telltale games a lot, where the first time you play a Telltale game, you think it's the best game you've ever played, because every choice you make leads you to a situation that feels unique. It feels like it's your own choices, it's your own path through the game. It feels like the game's reacting to you. You're like, how could it be so good? And then the second time you play that game, you go, oh, my choices mattered very little. It takes you down one of two paths. All the major points are the same. It's like, it loses the charm. Anyway, we're going to walk into the cathedral.
So?
I think we've heard all we can from people. Should we head to where Maria is? Actually, just a minute. Just a minute.
Let's go see.
Okay. I think we've seen everybody.
So?
Let's go see her.
That reminds me.
Being here sure brings back memories. Remember how we came here looking for Maria before the tournament for the throne? She was crying back then, though. She's happy now.
But...
Things are different now, though. You can say that again. This country's turned around since then, no doubt about it. I'm sure there will always be differences of opinion, but your ideals are really coming to fruition now. I can feel it. That reminds me, what's up with the book you're carrying around now? Is that the one you've been working on yourself?
Oh.
I'm excited to see what kind of fantasy you can conjure up. Maybe that's not even the word for it. After all, you're the one putting it in ink. That means you're going to make it a reality someday. Now then, Your Majesty, shall we get going?
Hello there.
Ooh, you're voiced.
Oh, right. I suppose now I should call you Your Majesty. You know, I was just telling Papa, even through all that mess, everyone's really been working hard.
Am I keeping my promise?
Am I keeping my promise properly from back then?
Yes, you beat the villain, and now the city's full of smiles. And I'm sure Papa's smiling down on you too.
That's good. Hearing that from you really lifts my heart.
It's a joy to see kids like her smile. The future changes slowly. The burden of its momentum will fall on their shoulders one day.
Don't worry. I'll try to do my part with what I've got. I want to help everyone understand that the world could be a better place if we can join hands with one another. Miss Fabian's fed so many hungry people since things changed. Some of those people even said they found their place there. I think I did too. If we can all change together for the better like that, we'll be closer to Your Majesty's and Papa's dream.
A place where I ought to be. A side of myself I ought to show. The path is never clear.
And I want to help with something too. I want everyone across the land to be able to smile.
You'd make a trusty advisor.
Yes. I expect great things, my trusty advisor.
Yeah. Thank you, Your Majesty. Oh, thank you, Your Majesty.
We should be the ones thanking her. Feels like I can see the entire country's future in her smile.
Everyone!
Long time no see. How have you been?
As we find ourselves afield, I thought I might visit Alsace myself.
Hold on a tick. Those people there. Surely not.
Naturally, we're drawing attention. We didn't all have to go at once.
Needn't fuss, old thing. It's been too long since we were all together again anyway.
Yeah. We're all together. All of our 6 people, our 6 partisans, and Uras. The 7th one we don't talk about, apparently.
Lady Tuna, did she really come all this way in a runner? Would have asked His Majesty to pop over and bring you back with a teleport or two.
The unmitigated nerve.
Oh, it's fine. I wanted to take in our country as it is. It's definitely a little rougher outside the capital's walls. There's still traces of melancholia around, and the odd human roaming about.
We're sending soldiers out for every incident we can. But it's not easy to hear the voice of the people from more distant regions.
I guess it's obvious. But just because you're king now doesn't make you suddenly all-seeing.
A lesson I learned last year. In the end, I was blind to a great deal of this world. Never would have learned if I hadn't pushed out the door and seen it with my own eyes.
He's right, the capital can be a bit of a bubble. There will always be more to do and learn beyond its walls.
A year ago, I would have just said we could fly over ourselves. I mean, let's be real. The capital isn't going to fall apart if we just sneak over for a little tour, is it?
Of course not. We specifically put precautions in place to keep things running.
Yet it has only been 1 year. We cannot be too complacent too soon, lest the dissidents seize on the opportunity.
Oh, there he is! Over there! See? I told you, that's His Majesty, innit?
Might have been a bit too obvious.
Oi there, Your Majesty!
You dare hoy the king, you swine!
Steady on, Hulkenberg, calm. You needn't draw steel on the poor fellow. We're the ones who indulged in this little day trip.
Your Majesty, thanks for all you do, really. Have to say, my life's a lot easier now.
There's more work to do every day, but we're in this together. We believe in you.
Everyone's so supportive. Kind of brings back memories from last year.
Rather. It's the sort of thing to get a chap all misty-eyed over the past. What a journey it was.
We really did just leg it up and down the country slaying dragons, eh? Can't believe we actually survived it.
They were dangerous times. but exciting ones too.
When we fought to appease the dragon god, I had no idea we would have to face another 4 dragons.
Nor I. Never thought the day would come when I'd be hailed as a dragon slayer. Life is full of surprises.
Right.
Resolved to believe in my ideals no matter what may come, even back then. Even if the world is slow to change, a king's beliefs can never waver.
It was a hard road, but we did have fun together, didn't we?
Looks like we're drawing a crowd. Time to get back to work.
Indeed. A veritable mountain of tasks awaits us, and I will see it crested.
Oh?
And not long after, the new year dawned.
We're continuing. I did say the game would never end. I guess that's true.
A journey? Are you really planning on leaving us?
There's more I have to see.
There's more I have to see. With my own eyes.
You want to know what's going on in the world, huh? Well, I guess you are the king.
Sounds like fun, but a daily jaunt down to the slums is one thing, and a proper journey is quite another. You're a king now, lad. You've got the people's expectations on your shoulders. It's all right to just sit on your throne and mind the home front, you know?
I just want to do what I can.
I want to do what I can for the people. If that's not kingly, then the crown's just slowing me down.
Come on, this is no time for jokes.
Ever the fearless gadabout, eh? Well, I take your point, lad. Magla and the humans make a fine barometer for the anxiety still swirling in the country. So you go out and give it a proper survey, where it is and how much is there. If people can't face their anxieties, they can't keep their eyes forward. And if they can't do that, we'll have a bally hard time moving forward as a nation or a people. So you want to get a better grasp of it all. That's your most important duty as a ruler. That's what you're thinking, eh?
Right.
Even the most faraway future begins with the belief that it can be realized. So I'll press onward. That's the best I can do.
If that was your plan, you could have just said so.
Sounds like a fine idea to me. A proper spot of fun, besides. Wouldn't expect any less from our king and captain. Well, since I'm the bally court engineer, I've no choice but to come along. I'm the only driver fit to maneuver the Royal Skyrunner after all. And why, you're the Dragon Slayer King, bane of monsters all across the country. When I imagine what sort of wondrous encounters you've got next, well, I'm all agog. Yes, here begins our quest anew. Let us sally forth upon our... hello? Are you not listening to me?
Sire, you've really got to stop chasing these ideas all on your own. You'll be the death of us.
Once again, sire, I've asked you countless times to give word if you're to leave the castle. Such caprice.
Nurse, don't tell me you called for them beforehand.
Saved us a bit of time, eh? Though, hello, what's this? I count only 2 of the 6 partisans. Short a few spears.
For my part, I believe 'tis unrealistic for all of us to depart the capital together.
Oh, so you have no plans to stop our little adventure, eh?
Hulkenberg and I talked it over. We decided that if you insist on going, we'd rather go with you than stop you.
Are you sure?
Are you sure about this?
I was thinking back to our last fight with Luis. So many people supported us, but not for any high-minded ideals or arguments.
They were supporting us because we were actively fighting a monster on their behalf. In the end, people make choices based on their personal experience and emotion. Even if decided justly and supported by prosperity, the people may struggle to trust a king whose face they do not know. An invisible ruler is no cure for their fears.
Right. I'm not opposed to the idea of getting out into the world again. Really, it might be the wisest move to make sure you're a king everyone knows.
My friends and allies believe as I do. Their support is the greatest treasure I could have.
Still, this early into the new year? 'Tis never a dull moment in your Majesty's employ.
Bit of a smaller party than we last set out with, huh? But it's a pleasure to be on the road again with you.
Okay, but can we really afford to have both our general and the Royal Guard's captain coming along for this?
'Tis natural course for the Royal Guard to accompany the king. And I trust my corps is not so feeble that it will fall apart in my absence.
We'll make it work. Got to learn to trust others and delegate, right? And we'll just have to lead by example.
Then let's go.
Right then, let's go.
You once heard my voice and answered a query in kind.
Yes?
Is fantasy a powerless creation? That timeless question. So long as life remains in the world, we seekers all shall search for our answer. But he will find his. Of that I am certain. And it is thanks to you for believing in and guiding him. That was the true purpose of my royal magic, you know. To seek and obtain guidance from denizens of a land beyond ours. A land that has not yet lost hope. And it was you who answered the call. Armed with your hope, armed with the power of fantasy, you rose in glory. Such courage, such whimsy, and yes, what thrills.
So, yeah. So this is a fantasy world, because I forgot it includes our world as existing within this world's universe. So, the king was seeking our help from reality to help fantasy. Alright. That makes sense.
You have my sincerest thanks.
Feels familiar. It's been far too long.
Aye, the wind feels an echo of days past.
Unusually poetic for you.
Ooh.
They're awful, aren't they? They would have left us behind. Oh.
Well, I'm not certain we're in a position to talk, having followed straight after, saying we could just teleport back.
Well, hey, we figured the kids might want to change your scenery, like.
Wow! Amazing!
Poetic indeed. That the scepter's absence restored order to Magla, and even greenery to the sands.
I'll say, I definitely like this view better.
Let's go.
And with that, we have finished Metaphor ReFantazio. This was really fun. I enjoyed it a lot. It was an odd-paced game in terms of how it was set out. It doesn't feel like, I was trying to think of it through the game and how I would have preferred it to be, and I don't know if I've got an answer. But when you're looking at something like Persona, right, which this game obviously borrowed heavily from in terms of its basic structure, Persona has this time mechanic to make you feel like you've done a year in the character's life, right? And there are many major events that are common to people throughout a year. You got major holidays, you got tests, you've got things that you would expect to see as you go through a year, and it gives it a sense of time. The time mechanic in this game was very odd, because I'm not entirely sure what it added. I guess it added a sense of it did add a kind of abstract sense of time passing, so it felt like there was a journey going on, but it was odd. Anyway, it was also very fun, and I think that the game really started to come together weirdly after the Elden Sanctum. I think that before then it was a little bit without focus for a lot of it, and I think that was deliberate, because you were a character who was literally pulled out into nothing, right? You're a character who's just there to have a journey, and therefore you just had a journey. You just did things, and it made sense because your actual character was meant to be that, but of course you didn't know that at the time. So the start of the game feels odd, but once you get the twist in the middle, it all starts to kind of connect together a little bit more, which was fun. There were a few things in the game that felt a little unexplored. Things like the Mage Academy, I definitely feel like they talked about a lot. And although, yes, it was revealed that that's where more was the whole time, it still felt like there was a little bit more to that. And they have said, actually, that there's going to, or that they are considering, it might be they're looking into whether they can do a sequel for this game. And I felt like they were putting a few bits down towards the end where they were like, we got a few things for sequel bait. Not a lot. I obviously don't know how they would do it with the main character. I have some ideas, but they got things like the Mage Academy is opening up, and there's some new things being discovered there. You've got the rebellions. You've got the fact that there's a land overseas that are actively hostile. You've got a whole bunch of things like that. And I could definitely see them doing another one of these games, and you just set it in like one of the foreign lands and off you go, right? Like, what was happening over there? Who knows? You could have it go further into the past, although then you start to cross over with their other games. Like, you would have to acknowledge the fact that they've effectively said that some of it is a post-SMT world, especially with Devil Summoner. Although, the the King/Morse thing at the end, where you're saying he was seeking help from other worlds, I mean, that would explain why there were summoners and things as archetypes. If someone had done that beforehand, you would just assume that they were effectively someone from SMT who was a Devil Summoner played a version of Metaphor, essentially. Which is kind of odd, but yeah. I like this a lot. I've also been thinking about combat in this game as we got towards the end, some of the big fights at the end. Because combat in this game was definitely faster paced than the other games. I was trying to figure out if I could figure out a reason for that. And I think I have it. In something like Persona, combat was very much a it was a find the loop kind of system. By that I'm meaning, what you would do is you would find something that worked, and you would do the loop until the boss's health bar gets down to 0, right? And you would find something nice and consistent, and bosses have huge amounts of health, and they encourage that by the bosses having huge amounts of health, you having no real resource issues within fights, and you could basically just infinitely loop until the boss died, which was their way of doing it. In something like SMT, fights were longer because bosses have tons of health and that as well. You got some resource issues, but generally it's about finding the gimmick and how to work around the gimmick. Generally there'll be things like, oh, the boss is going to do a thing here which is going to force you to change your pattern, right? Like it would do a huge amount of health damage, and suddenly you're going to have some healing stuff to like sort that out, or it's going to cast a certain status effect, and you basically find the gimmick and you work around it. In this game, what it encouraged you to do in combat is it encouraged you to do things quickly. That was its whole focus. So, in normal fights, it gave you that with the Unscathed Triumph, right? If you could find a way to kill an enemy in one turn, you got rewarded for it, right? Inherently, it's encouraging you to play quickly. They gave you lots of abilities that cost like a quarter of your MP, right? So if it costs you a quarter of the amount of MP you have, obviously if you're only using that 4 times in a combat, you're now out of MP, you're out of resources, right? They were actively encouraging you to get as much damage as possible, as quickly as possible. Which made it feel a lot different, made the end fights feel very different than the other games, because instead of being in the fight for a huge amount of time, you were realistically in the end fights for much less time than you would expect. Which is why I was happy when we finally got to the Luis fight at the end, that there was a little bit more to it. Like there was a few more phases. They understood that they had to put in a little bit more in terms of like transitions between different stages that you could burst through to make it feel like it was the same kind of thing. Because I think if the final fight had been like that Moor fight we had, where we killed them in 2 turns, it would definitely feel it wouldn't feel like a proper conclusion to the game. But also the conclusion to the game is very odd as well. It just kind of like having the time skip and showing you after. I like some of that. It did feel though that they could have ended it like when the prince or king, I guess at that point, like raised his fist after the coronation. I was sure that was going to be the end, and then they were like 1 year later. Yeah, and then you got to see some of the results. I'm assuming that's because they wanted to like throw in some where could we go from here type stuff in there. Trying to think of anything else here about the game. The music was really good all the way through. It's very different than the other stuff that they've done, which was cool. Designs were obviously very odd and very I need to find a better word than odd, but they were wild for some of the monster designs. Apparently most of them were based off of Hieronymus Bosch. I hope I got the name right. But an artist who basically painted a load of things, like the egg with the frog in the middle of it was one of his, and yeah, they're very, very odd designs. Yeah, I was trying to think more things to talk about. The dungeons were the dungeons were one thing I felt could have been better in the game. I was a little uncertain about the side dungeons because they were mostly just copy pastes of each other. And I was wondering whether that was a product of the fact that they have kind of this fast combat system, which meant that like obviously main dungeons wouldn't last as long as they would normally would, and the fact that they still had the day system in there, so they had to have something for you to fill your days with. So they could fill your days with like side quests and side dungeons. But because they gave you those, you then ended up like there's a lot of like just extra content needed in creating those. So they just created a lot of them that were very samey. It's I'm not sure what the thought was behind that, but it was apart from that, the main dungeons were still fairly cool. Are we already doing special thanks, or is there like another studio here? Oh no, that's the end of the credits. Maybe? I think it is. Alright. Let's see, maybe? We're going one at a time now. I'm wondering whether there's something afterwards. Oh? Well, that's the Seeker.
Dear guest, from a world I shall never know.
The great Seeker Alpax.
In your eyes, I know our journey was ultimately a fiction. However, I hope your memories of this fantastical adventure burn as bright in your reality. I hope the promise of our world echoes in you. With all my heart, I hope that fantasy gives you strength.
Ooh, there is more. Well, that's the remains of the Charadrius, I think.
Look at that. The rubble's just bait for tourists now.
I never expected a view like this.
Let's see it all. Let's see the world.
Yeah.
A new journey now beckons. In days of Eld, the people prospered and perished in turn. Struck by their ways, I wrote a book of my dearest ideas. A tale of fantasy. In my vision, they placed their trust, and so the kingdom breathed new life.
The strength to believe in the unknown, that can change everything. Without a doubt, you will face all sorts of trials ahead. But carry onward with all your heart. Onward, fearless, into a world unknown.
Fantasy lives on. By saving your clear data, certain things can transfer over to a new game. You can transfer currently owned items with some exceptions: money, mag, royal virtue, scanned enemies, memorandum, archetype statuses, and total playtime. Ah, yes, memorandum. We were at like 98% at the end. I know exactly what we missed. We got some memorandum stuff from doing some of the side activities, like the religion, learning about the Mustari religion. I have to assume that those are the missing ones. Not necessarily the Mustari religion ones, but maybe some of the other side activities give you some more memorandum stuff. It just makes sense. Yeah, I'll do a save data. I might as well do it in this one then. Slot 16. Ooh, it's got a little star next to it. Wonderful. And with that, we have now truly finished Metaphor ReFantazio. Now, what comes next for us? Well, I've got some other Atlus games that we're finishing off. We need to go back to finish Persona 3, and Persona 3 Reload, I should say, and we also need to finish SMT5 Vengeance. And then there are some pretty big rumors that Atlus may be remaking another game this year, and that it may drop at some point this year. So that, I suspect, is what's next from us there. Atlus have also announced that they're doing another, was it Rido or something? I'm not sure whether we want to check that out, but it's a spin-off of the Devil Summoner series. Or it's not a spin-off, it's the third game in the Devil Summoner series, but it's a different combat style. Anyway, they're remaking that, so we could check that out. But yeah, for now, I'm going to end the episode here. Thank you very much for everybody who stayed with us this far. We're going into the opening cutscene again. But yes, thank you to everybody who watched this all the way through. Do appreciate it. I'm going to have to skip the opening cutscene as I finish this. And yeah, I hope to see you in whatever comes next. Oh, thanks for watching. See you next time. Goodbye.